Good evening from New York. I'm Sam Cedar in for Chris Hayes. Now, it may not come as a total surprise to you to hear that Russia is once again trying to interfere in our presidential election to help Donald Trump. But the twist today is that the Trump administration is the one that is claiming it. This afternoon, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence released a statement updating the foreign threat to our elections. Quote, "We assess that Russia is using a range of measures to primarily denigrate former Vice President Biden and what it sees as an anti-Russia establishment. Some Kremlin-linked actors are also seeking to boost President Trump's candidacy on social media and Russian television." Donald Trump's own intelligence is publicly saying that Russia is actively trying to help him and hurt Joe Biden. The Trump campaign released a statement saying, quote, "We don't need or want foreign interference, and President Trump will beat Joe Biden fair and square." But given all of the president's lies over the last 5 years, not one word of that statement is believable. Remember, Donald Trump's plan A for re-election was to get Ukraine to dig up dirt on Joe Biden and then to use that to go after him. This is literally what he said last October after the story of his abuse of power had broken and congressional investigations were underway.
What exactly did you hope Zelensky would do about the Bidens after your phone call? Exactly.
Well, I would think that if they were honest about it, they'd start a major investigation into the Bidens. It's a very simple answer. They should investigate the Bidens. And by the way, likewise, China should start an investigation into the Bidens. Because what happened in China is just about as bad as what happened with Ukraine.
But that was only the first part of Plan A. The second part was to run on the booming economy he inherited from President Barack Obama. And he sure did tweet about it an awful lot. However, he might have been tempting fate, because then everything changed. Donald Trump got impeached for his Ukraine Plan A, and the economy went down the tubes thanks to his failure to deal with the coronavirus. And since then, the president has been ticking through a bunch of half-hearted plans trying to get reelected, some of which have backfired spectacularly. Plan B, the virus is contained. Plan C, the virus will magically go away. Plan D, we should reopen the economy. Plan E, we should reopen the schools. Plan F, a vaccine might be here by Election Day. Plan G, slow the mail down. Plan H, demonize the act of voting by mail. Plan I, label Biden Sleepy Joe. Plan J, question Biden's cognitive ability. Plan K, brag about his own cognitive ability. Plan L, claim Biden will hurt the Bible and hurt God. Plan M, get Kanye West on the ballot to steal votes from Biden. Plan after plan after plan, and now Trump has landed on Plan N, which is a kind of bunch of those combined. He's going to undermine the election, sue everyone and everything he sees as a threat, and try to pander to the base by claiming Joe Biden will hurt God.
He's going to do things that nobody ever would ever think even possible, because he's following the radical left agenda. Take away your guns, destroy your Second Amendment, no religion, no anything, hurt the Bible, hurt God. He's against God.
How is a man who Trump says is too sleepy to be president and mentally not up to the job going to land a blow against God?